We are back again with another episode of Cities Skylines. This is the second episode of my new series, Tihir Islands. All that jazz. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. This episode we were working on the nuclear power plant, which you can see running through the background now. It looks quite good in my opinion. It's not done yet, not completely. There's just a few more minor things that need to be done. It's about 90% done. Just need to throw down a few more relevant buildings and decals. It'll be perfect. So this episode is basically just a detailing of this plant, which I also, somewhere in the footage, I show a comparison between this plant, and my phone is going off, this power plant and the power plant in-game. Basically, I can't speak. Yeah, the basic power plant in-game. And the size difference is, it's just mental. The scale of this is huge in comparison. So now we're just going to be jumping over to the actual footage rather than just, yeah, there we go, we're on the footage now, rather than the little intro thing I do. So last episode you would have saw, I did a little bit of this, and I had these power plants covered completely by, I'll say covered, I had these power plants completely on top of concrete, and I went onto Google to get some inspiration, obviously, and from what I saw when I was searching, nuclear power plants have, at least the ones I was looking at, not all of them I know, of course I don't, but a lot of them have quite a lot of grass and nature surrounding them, surprisingly enough. I mean, of course nuclear power plants don't produce a lot of, well, pollution, if any, but it's just something you don't expect, really, is it? I mean, something that's producing power tends to be related to pollution, and you don't have all this lush greenery around, which is why I initially went with the concrete, but as it turns out, that's not actually how it goes. So this is me kind of amending that. I was throwing down some roads around the cooling towers, just so it looks like they're out in their own little field, yet the people of the power plant still, of course, have access to them just in case they need to, I don't know, maintain them or this, that and the other. And they fit quite well. I did have some problems with this second one. It was kind of pushing up against the trees behind it, but of course I just ran the road through and got rid of the trees. That was all fine. And I really didn't have much else to put around these cooling towers. I mean, normally you might see a few administration buildings around, and this is kind of what that little road was for there. So I put in kind of like a garage kind of thing for, say, maintenance vehicles that would patrol or go around the area, and equipment maybe. Sorry, my voice is going, I haven't drunk. Yeah, so that type of thing. So you'll see that coming up in a minute, just after I put down this gate. It takes me quite a while to get that perfect lining up. I think that's sped up footage. I think it honestly took me about 3 minutes to get that perfect, to get that fence perfect. And yeah, so here's just like the entrance road, and I toyed with doing kind of like an external car park, which is what this is, and I opted against it. So I proceed here just to waste like a solid 3 minutes trying to get this road perfect for no reason. But yeah, I ultimately decided to scrap the idea because there was quite a lot of space inside the fences that wasn't being used up, as you can see there, which would have been ideal for a car park. So rather than putting one outside, I thought, why not put one next to the buildings where it would actually be easily maintained and accessible. I need a drink, but I don't have any water. Oh well. So I'm just toying around with some of the building placements and all this, and what you're seeing now is pretty much the final placement of the buildings. I do throw down a few more, but where they are now is where they're staying. And I feel like it looks well. It looks good. If you saw in the little time lapse, I suppose, at the beginning, just flying through the compound, they fit the areas they're in very well. And I honestly do feel like I've done a decent job with this compound. I'm running out of things to say, honestly. So, just going back to the footage again, this is where this is the second time where I looked at Google Images and noticed oh yeah, there is quite a lot of shrubbery and that type of thing around, and foliage. So I was like, okay, let's throw some down. And I kind of went a bit crazy. I mean, these palm trees, as you can see, I'm just absolutely spamming them down. They don't look ideal, I have to say, because you can see straight through them. They look placed, is what I'm trying to say. That being said, every tree on this map was placed by me when I was building it. I didn't use the tree brush or anything. I left clicked every single placement of the tree down, just purely because I wanted that control. And obviously you can't with the brush make trees this dense, so it was either that or just no trees at all. So I think at the moment, just in this southern island, there's 50,000 trees. I think I mentioned that last episode, and I single-handedly placed every single one of those, which kind of explains as to why it took me 3 days just to do this tiny little island in the southern end of the map. This is what I was on about by more buildings. I decided to attack this, I think it was supposed to be a UPS type of building for a distribution centre, but I feel like it contrasted well with the white of this other building here. That building's the main control centre, I believe. I felt like the black complemented that, so that's what I went for. And here I'm just playing with more stuff, and that's where the garage comes from, which doesn't really have much of a purpose. I just thought it looked good and filled that little corner in where there was nothing else. I didn't actually put any decals or detail down there. I think I threw down an airport light off camera, because that's one thing I did do. I did a fair bit of work off camera, so I started doing this, what you're watching now, at about 4 in the morning, and I went to sleep around about 5 or 6, so I came back in the morning and did the next part of the footage, which I only did for about an hour and a half, so it's quite a lot. It's a shorter clip, obviously you won't be able to tell, hopefully you won't be able to tell when that cut is in the footage, but yeah, I did that, and then I had to go out, so I ended up doing a lot off camera when I got back. I just felt like I could get through quicker, so I started placing decals and thought, well, you're not really going to want to watch this. Once you've seen me place one, you've seen me place them all, really. There's no difference. So I threw down all the airport lights and most of the decals off camera, just to get it done. So in upcoming episodes, you'll actually see that when I just glance over them in, say, a live footage live area. It looks quite nice with all the lighting now. I mean, as you saw from the little intro, that was before I actually started putting the lights down, and even then it still looked quite nice. See, this is what I'm on about. A lot of ideas I started off and I completely scrapped. I was trying to make kind of like an entrance, and it didn't look right, and I ended up going back and forth between these little barriers. But what it came out with at the end was a little security checkpoint, which you'll see at about the 12-minute mark, and I feel like that looks very nice. It's very similar to the way that I did the power plant entrance in my old series, so it's the exact same model of that, and that's what I used basically, and I threw down some cars and stuff to complement that. But as you can see, I gotta stop saying that. You can just see what I'm doing anyway. I'm just practicing with stuff. I'm trying stuff out and throwing down decals here and there. What I'm going to do for the moment is, because of this first clip that I mentioned, there's currently about 2 minutes left of it, so I'm going to throw in a bit of music and stop talking so I can go and get a drink before I come back and start commentating on the second half. So hopefully you've enjoyed this thus far, and I will catch up with you in a moment. Right then, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of the sequence there that I just whipped up. I can't actually remember what I said previously because I'm recording this second half of the video about a week after I recorded the previous part you just listened to. So yeah, I can't really remember what I said or what was going on much in the video. I have my little preview window, which is so pointlessly tiny, like you can barely see anything. I'm using Vegas Pro 13, and if any of you use that, I'm sure you'll know. You can either have it really small, or you can enlarge it, and then you just lose every bit of detail whatsoever. So it can be a bit difficult to track what is going on. That being said, I am getting the basic gist of what is happening right now, and I'm apparently throwing down some trucks. I honestly don't remember doing this, because basically the way I do my videos, I record the footage in bulk, and then I go back maybe like two weeks, like backlog of footage, and then when I need that particular footage for the episode, I go and do the voiceover and different this type of thing for it, and that's basically how it does. So I'll record the gameplay and the audio separately, obviously, and then I combine it all together in Sony Vegas. So yeah, it's been about three weeks since I actually built what you're seeing right now, and it's been about a week since I recorded the previous part. So you see, we are going back quite a bit, and since this episode I've done so much to the map already. It should be, well, I'm already thinking that it's a good series in my opinion. Well, like, it's a good build, I should say. I'm not sure if the YouTube videos really reflect the quality. This is that comparison. I remember saying something about it. That's a comparison of the standard nuclear power plant to this one. As you can see, it dwarfs it. It's just you could fit 2-3 maybe nuclear power plants in that little area alone, just that we went by there. So yeah, this is quite a large operation over here. This is and it's just basically trial and error at this point, as far as I can tell. You're just throwing down different props and decals, just trying to get a decent look for the place. So I'm just, like I said, oh yes, I remember doing this actually. I wanted to make, like, because obviously where the gate comes across the road, I wanted to make it so people wouldn't just, you know, ball into the gate. So that's what these decals are for, and looking at them now, they're not straight, and that is annoying me. I wonder if I fixed that. No, I don't remember. Oh, you might remember, first episode I think it was, I mentioned how before I built this power plant, I went for a town in this area, and the water pipes there were remnants of that. So I just had to scrap them basically and redo them. Luckily enough, the cooling towers don't need water, so I don't have to run pipes over to them. Not that it's a big deal. It's not, you can't see them or anything. It's just, you know, there's less to put down, so it saves me some time, which is ideal. Yes, I remember this. I did a huge car park here. For obviously all the employees of the place, so the people who'd be in the administration centre and all the grounds crew and everyone who'd be working around, and all the warehouse operators, that type of thing. And I feel like that turned out well, in my opinion. I do like it, and oh, please start fix that, thank God. Oh, looking back then, I was absolutely, I had a bit of a heart attack there. It was just so unstraight. Honestly, I think this clip is about to come to an end right now, and that's pretty much the end for the video. There isn't much left, so yeah, there you go. I think that's the end. Right then, I will catch you next time. Goodbye.